ayo, hey ayo, hawe ya, hawa hiane, ho yane, hawe ya, hawa hiane, ho yane, we ha, ya ho ganiwa, ho yane, ya ho ganiwa. Ho ya ne, ya ho ganewa. Ho ya ne, ya ho ganewa. Ho ya ne, we ha. He anu ha we. He anu ha we. He anu ha we. Hey, anu hawe, yanu hawe, hey yo ho. Hey, anu hawe, hey anu hawe, yanu hawe, hey yo ho. We ha, hey no hey ya, no ya hey, 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 hey no hey ya. No ya hey we ha we ya na we ya na we ya na we ya na ho ya ne we ya na we ya na we ya na ho ya ne we ha. Yo ho he ho, 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 e do ga ho ne, ho yo.
Osio ele Cherokee, si Danela Oganale ele Nagida, che Mashu Oganale Unega, che Chickamauga ele Gaduwa Tsalagi ele Osage. Hello and welcome to my family, friends, and everyone that's listening. My name is Mashu Whitefeather. I am Chickamauga and Gaduwa, Tsalagi, Cherokee, and also Osage. And I am one of your hosts for this evening. The lead-in song was from was a welcoming song from our Cherokee people, sung by Bo Taylor from Cherokee, North Carolina, and it's on his CD, Rebuilding the Fire. If you have anyone that would like to call in this evening for our, with questions for our special guest, our call-in number is area code 718-506-1564. Again, that's area code 718-506-1564. If you would like to contact us via our web page or our radio station, that's at justusradionetwork.weebly.com, and there is a place where you can write in your messages and make comments. And I would also like to announce that since our show last week, we are also being simulcasted by Awake Radio and by These Changing Times Radio. And at this time, I would like to introduce my co-host, Doreen Bennett from Aotearoa. Kia ora, Doreen.
Kia ora, Mashu, and he mihi atu kia koutou katoa. Hello to all our listeners that are here today. Kia ora.
And our special guest tonight is also Cherokee, and his name is Waya Adanado, which means wolf spirit. Osio Waya.
Osio.
Waya is a published Cherokee author, and I know of a couple of books that he has out that he's written, and that's one is the Cherokee Sound. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And your latest one is Where Ancestors Cry. So I'm going to have you just give us a little fill in about yourself, and then we'll just take it from there. How does that sound, Moya?
That sounds good.
Okay.
I'm very thankful for what I got right now. Writing these books was a big thing, and it was a good thing that I got rid of this one. It was just a good thing to get it out.
So are your books available online, Moya, or are they just in...
Yeah, you can get them. You can go either to Amazon and on all the other locations there. They're out there so many places I don't know.
I was reading them.
Now, what kind of books are these, Waya? Are these history books or?
No, they're spiritual poetry.
Spiritual books.
Spiritual poetry.
Okay. Both the Cherokee Sound and Where Ancestors Cry, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, are these the only two books that you've written, or have you written more?
No, the two I got out right now.
Okay. Because I was looking. The reason I'm asking is because I was looking, on your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some other things with some pictures that were on there, and it said that they were by you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if they were books or if they were just different spiritual poems.
Yeah, I've written. I put about 30 pieces on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
And put the pictures on there, and basically came up with what I was going to write, and then I put a picture to it, and I just post them. So, so in other words, I put them out every now and then.
Oh, okay. But these are just individual pieces as opposed to a collection, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Now, you're living up in Pennsylvania, correct?
Yeah.
I was up there about 2 years ago, and I ended up at a powwow up there in close to Forksville. I don't know how close that is to you.
Where was that?
Forksville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lene Lenape up there. But I was surprised at the number of Cherokee I met there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, I have a brother up there that lives in East Pittsburgh, and he was telling me there was a lot of Cherokee up that far north. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we're all over.
Yeah, we had trouble in our country, so we kind of spread ourselves out, it looks like.
Yeah, we had to though.
Yeah.
We have a good rack of people.
Yeah. Now,
Well, would you, just for our listeners over this side of the pond, would you like to just introduce yourself and a little bit about who you are, where you come from, the community you live in? Please.
That's fair enough. I follow the Great Spirit. In other words, I don't follow God or Jesus. I follow the Great Spirit, and it's, you know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah. You're a traditional person and a spiritual person.
Yeah. And it makes me whole. So therefore, I don't have to look back at anything. My thing is to keep going forward.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much it.
I think what's really good is that, if you don't mind me telling our listening audience, is that you're just recovering from a stroke, and I think you're doing really quite well. So
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's I thank you for that. That's got a lot of work to do though.
Yes. Those are always hard to recover from. So, you know, if you have any trouble like in communicating or anything tonight, not to worry. I'll try to read, and I'll get you in more trouble than you bargained for.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll pick up and I'll try to read Mashu's mind. And I'll straighten it up.
That's just wrong. Most people want to go there.
Yeah, right.
No,
I appreciate that.
But you are of our tribe, the Tsalagi, and and in our way, the way that I was brought up to say for our great spirit would be Dakanoa Didonha. And the thing is, amongst our people, we have 3 different dialects, so the wording will differ just a little bit between Eastern and Western dialect, and then there's our the Alate dialect, which is really different.
Mm-hmm.
So we can still kind of understand each other. It's like if someone was speaking Spanish and another person was speaking either Portuguese or Italian. It's different, but it's close enough where you can pick up the general gist of the conversation.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and, well, that's what you got so much. We have 3 or 4. How do you say it? Dialects. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, we have.
But there's a lot of us unspoken.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting, really.
A lot of it is done with gesture. A lot of it is done with intonation of voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have some words that no one uses. Because only our holy people, like our ukus, are allowed to use those words because they're so sacred.
Mm-hmm.
Now, uku is a priest for us, like a priest or a holy man, and in James language it means clay.
Yeah.
So it has a much more significant meaning here on Turtle Island.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Doreen?
We're similar as well. Right. We have dialects as well with our language, but we have one basic language that all tribes in Aotearoa and New Zealand can understand. We when we hear different words, we know where they come from, which part of the country they come from. So that's all similar. And then we do have some old words which aren't used often anymore, and if they were, they probably were only used by our kohana or our experts. So when you talk, listening to you talk, I actually feel quite comfortable because we're very similar. We also use gestures when we talk because we're a visual people. We like to see and be face to face. Sometimes we and Mashu because we traditionally have facial tattoos, so we can express those in a good way or not, depending on who you are on the other side.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I think we've just been threatened. What do you think?
I don't know.
No.
That's interesting now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, like, one thing that I love seeing with our people is when the men perform the haka, the men's dance, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
The more fierce it is, the more goosebumps you get on your arms. I just love seeing that. And when our old people, our men, our elders, perform the haka, it's even more special. Because it's very rare you'll see the elders or the older ones get up and perform. It's mainly the young ones now. So you've got to be a little bit, and you've got to look good for the crowd, I guess.
Yeah.
But the older ones, when you see the older ones perform, it looks it's just so special.
Because there's a lot of mana with it, a lot of spirit behind them. Because it has a closer connection to the ancestors.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yep.
But our people are similar as well, Waya. We're a very spiritual people as well. We've got our own aka, our own gods, our own an English word is demigod.
Yeah.
So, and which we acknowledge, our forests, our waters, the wind, our Sky Father and Earth Mother. We know all that, and that's part of who we are. But we still have, and only through colonisation, we have religion filtering through our family, Catholic.
I think you find that with most Indigenous peoples around the world, no matter where you come from around the world, if you are Indigenous and you come from any type of tribal background, you are connected with the earth and with the forces of nature, because that's, I find that more to be the case when I talk with people from around the world, which Doreen and I have the opportunity to do that when we're at the United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually can sit and talk with people, from different tribes from all over the world. And in these many conversations that we have off and on, I think that's the one thing that I found most interesting is that we're all alike in that way. Now, the way that we honor and show respect for these connections may vary from tribe to tribe, but the connection is there. That we're all a part of it.
Yeah, my Ulysses, she raised me. I was 10 when she died, and she was 93.
Oh.
And she was full blood.
Elise is grandmother in our language.
And she taught me a lot. And like I said, I was 10 years old when she went to the Great Spirit. And she just basically put the bone where it needs to be. And she's just a special person to me.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, it was my grandmother, Chisquageya, Bird Woman, that she was also my Elise, my grandmother, that taught me most of my ways in growing up as well. She and my grandfather, Tawode Genagat, Black Hawk, did that. And then I had my grandmother's brother, who was Tawode Gegagi, Red Hawk, that was also an important person in my life that, was taught me the things that I do know.
Yeah. She was everything I needed to know. And she just time to go to the Great Spirit.
Did your Elise, did she tell you how your life was going to be, and when you were younger, did she give you an idea of what it was going to be like?
Yeah, I'd say pretty amazing that she did that, but she She put she how do I say this? She was right down to a T. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, because that's the way my Elise was. She told me, I look back on the things that she has told me. It's amazing. She has been 100% on the money throughout my whole life. And I look back and and these things come back to me, and like she really nailed it, just like you said. And that's my Ichi's mother. My mother's mother.
Yeah. Yeah. She knew it all.
Yeah.
That's what she was.
She predicted the number of children I was going to have. She told me I was going to travel. She told me the countries I was going to travel to. She told me that I would be doing things in a spiritual way.
Mhm.
She told me that I would at some point be helping our people. She goes through. I'm trying to think of the exact way she said it, but it basically boiled down to doing programs and attending big meetings for the rights and the issues of our people.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am. I just turned 66, and I sit here and remember these things, and I'm going, wow, she was really good. And I was just like, I mean, like you listen, but you don't really listen.
Yeah.
When you're back that young, and then to have it come back to me where it's just hitting you. That's amazing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Now, my question is, will we be the parents and grandparents that do the same things for our children and grandchildren, where they'll look back and say, geez, they really hit it on the head, just like we're doing?
I don't know. I don't know.
Probably not.
That's a good...
Well, you should not, right? You should.
Well, yeah, well, I know that my children have been brought up, with the old ways and the knowledge of the ways, and I'm serious they will. Now, whether they choose to follow them or not, that's entirely up to them. But I always felt, that I, as their parent, made sure that they know this stuff. But once they're on their own, you have no control after that.
But I think
go ahead.
I think when they're little, when they're toddlers and growing up to, I don't know, the age of 10 maybe, in that time period, you can sort of see the type of child they're going to be. Well, I can with my grandchildren, my little ones. And I've got an idea already the pathway that they're going to go down if they're nurtured in a good way. I can also see the bad pathway if they're not nurtured at all.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we all have traits, and we can all see traits that are in our kids and our grandkids.
Uh-huh.
And I believe it's my responsibility to help nurture them on that right path.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
So I want to know how are the sales on these books doing? Is it getting out there pretty much?
I think so. The Cherokee Sound is 2 years old.
Uh-huh.
And people are still buying it. Piece was a lot. This second book is not as let me start that over. Cherokee Sound was harder to write, but I wrote a lot of different stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I covered every way that I could think of. You know what I mean?
Covered what?
Everything I could think of. I covered it and wrote it.
Okay.
So
from a spiritual aspect.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So both books are spiritual writings.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now you might get some people that think I'm pretty much you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook. You got to try to do what you can,
Yeah.
and you have to keep at it.
Yeah. Do you have one of your books with you that maybe you can give us an idea of some of your writing? Would you be able to do that?
Yeah. Okay. This is called Tears, Tsalagi Eyes. The skies were dark, a calm sea, when the evil winds blew in, to the coast with misery. Night was dark, but history. An evil wind blows. There's much to truth in all. Times were hard behind the scenes. Everyone living this American dream makes you stop, laugh, and cry. Digs at your spirit, opens your eyes. Tears from too many tears from my Tsalagi eyes. Mountain life, our Tsalagi way. Waking up, Cherokee, each and every day. Grandmother's arms wrapped all around you. Her lessons, that medicine, Tsalagi truth. Tears from my Tsalagi eyes. Too many tears from my Tsalagi eyes. Tears, Tsalagi eyes. I know the day that I got to go to the sky. My Tsalagi eyes will shine. No more tears from these Tsalagi eyes.
Very nice.
Very nice.
You like that?
I do.
Yes.
I've got a lot of stuff in here. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay, I'm going to start over. When the time was right, my ancestors were giants, strong upon their land, spiritual footsteps until we die again. Memories lost, that truth unheard. We won't pay the cost. You've left us as the dirt. Spirits, how they gather to show their hand. Lesson and learning for the native man. Destiny calling, a line in the sand. Tell me now, will we see me again? There's a wind blowing down in the valley, a dream and a purpose, another sacred type. Where are we going? With all of us knowing our peoples still suffering inside. Hope I meet you when the time is right. Creator, won't you bring us home to the place we've always known? Grandmother, please hold me tight. I will see you when the time is right. When the time is right, I'll be home. That empty wind will leave me alone when the time is right.
Now, is there a story behind each of your writings?
Yeah. it's pretty much it's just I lay it out. I go to the Great Spirit first, and a lot of times, see, I can write a piece in a few minutes if you want, but a lot of times I have to. It'll take me a couple hours. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just go back and forth and keep trying to lay at it. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
But I truthfully get. I feel such a. You know what I mean?
I think so. Now, the title of your second book is "Where Ancestors Cry."
Yeah.
Where does that title come from? Are these a compilation of stories of the hardships of our people, like around maybe the time of the Trail of Tears, or just the hardships in general?
Oh yeah. I try to write about everything. You know what I mean? You'll see that I'm something that doesn't necessarily. It's not like how do I say it?
It's not like you have one thought process for the whole book, but each piece that contribute to the book maybe has its own story, and and you're putting the spiritual essence behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And I also I write a lot with the Great Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I write, it's just me and the Great Spirit.
Mm-hmm. And
the
Creator gives you the direction on what to write. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I try to take it and make it as big as it can get, but I try to write to within its bounds.
Okay. Am I explaining things well enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to be putting words into your mouth, though.
No.
Okay.
No.
You can tell me if I'm wrong. I accept that very well.
No, you're a great help. See, with my Ulysses,
mm-hmm.
there's she comes around as a hawk.
Oh, uh-huh.
To here in the mountains, and I actually saw her today, so it's important to me, and it's something happened to me this week to where that she's bigger than what she was.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
And she knows what the deal is.
Are you? Can I ask a real personal question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your clan?
My plan? My plan is to get through the. Oh.
No, your clan.
Oh, clan.
Yeah.
Wolf clan.
Wolf clan. Aniwaya.
Yeah. Aniwaya.
Okay.
And that's through my mother, or through my Ulysses.
Uh-huh.
And I have other tribes, or other Cherokee through the Easter Band on another family member.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of mixed up, but that's what it is.
Well, you always take the clan of your mother, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's... You know, it's like if you go back to North Carolina, most of the Johnsons, you know, with that, because they couldn't pronounce our Indian names, they gave us the Anglo name.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnson is my mother's maiden name, and most of the Johnsons are Wolf Clan back there. But we're Anichishwa. We're Bird Clan.
Yeah.
So.
Chishwa.
Mhm. So I was just wondering, you know, because every family has the different clans.
Mhm.
You know, because we're not allowed to marry into the same clan.
Yeah. Right.
Because we'll be too closely related. Because our relationships are much closer than the European way of relationship.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was just curious. But we have a lot of wolf. I hail way back from Wolf Clan, from Dragging Canoe. So.
Dang.
Well, you didn't have to say it like that.
No, I wasn't saying it that way.
Stay away from that Mashu guy, eh?
I wasn't doing that.
As an author of your writing, do you just leave it for the companies to sell your books, or do you actually go out yourself and do like book signings and talk about your books?
I want to do that now, but probably soon I'll be doing that.
Mm-hmm. Did you do this with your first book, Cherokee Sound?
No, I was too busy working.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Now that you've been freed up to where you're not doing that anymore, this would, you know, and you're feeling a little better, this would be a great opportunity.
Yeah.
You know.
I think so.
Yes, because they get to hear right from the author himself.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm sure you will have stories to tell, you know, like maybe, you know, what made you write this particular piece.
Oh, yeah.
And then maybe, you know, do a little Cherokee tradition behind it. Here, I'm laying it out for you here, Udo. Yeah, I'm telling you how you can do it now, because I've seen it on television. I know it works.
Yeah.
So.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I've talked to other people who've written books and they've done things like this, and that's why I'm asking you if that was part of any of your, you know, future plans.
Yeah, it is. It is. I would say pretty much about 3 months, I would say I'd be better off with that.
Mm-hmm.
I still got to do a little bit more, then I'm going to go out.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing quite well. You know, you said you're still having trouble with the right side of your body from the stroke, your right arm. And
yeah. I'm walking well, but the right side, my right side, but it'll loosen up though. It's just you're teaching your arm to work again.
Yes, you have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that takes a while, but I think you're doing well. Your speech is improving.
Yeah.
And so everything looks good. Everything's looking up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really happy. Great Spirit has been very good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was much left in the dawn. I was gone. So that was a big
You actually died?
eye opener. Huh?
Actually died?
No, I came very close.
Oh.
I came very close. I was laying in the bed, and I don't even know. I went to 3 hospitals, but I don't even know what was going on, or you know what I mean.
You were just like unconscious.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had no idea what was going on around you at that time?
No, I had even gotten I was, how do I say it? I stayed at home when I should have gone in, but.
So had you gone to the hospital sooner, you may have been able to have it treated beforehand, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think, you're not alone in that. I think a lot of people are like that. So you shouldn't reprimand yourself for that.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's just, but
But they say hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah. I gotta say that the way I wasn't going anywhere. I had nothing going on, and the Great Spirit gave me what I needed. So that is very important to me.
I think what you tell me if I'm wrong in saying this, okay? I think the Great Spirit gives a lot of people what they need to go on and what they're supposed to do in their life, but I think you were put in a position to slow down where you could actually get the message the Great Spirit was giving you. Does that sound?
Yeah.
Sound like it? Okay.
Yeah. And I just, if it wasn't for the Great Spirit, I would not be here. So that was a bad deal. But I'm doing good though.
Well, you sound good, and I think you're doing wonderfully. I think it's important for anyone that's gone through what you've experienced is not to get angry with yourself, because it does take time to recuperate and to get back the functions and stuff of what you're, of what you've gone through, like the full use of your right arm and your right hand, and it does get frustrating. But just say, well, I'm starting over again, and it's going to be better than it was before.
Yeah, I do that. It's really it's left me. How do I word it?
It's left you more appreciative.
Yeah.
Of what you care, because I remember you have mellowed a lot from when we first met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've noticed that you're much more with yourself and what's going on. But I think a lot of that also has to do with that you were in a very stressful job before, and I think that's probably what contributed to you having your stroke. But you used to be very high-strung, very vocal of issues and stuff.
Yeah.
Like right up there in people's faces. And you're not like that, and maybe this was Creator saw that this was the way to give you another perspective on how to deal with that.
Yeah. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, you can still address the same issues and whatever, but maybe through your writing and in a way where people are going to accept what you're saying instead of, like I know when I get really passionate about something back now, but I've learned also through the process of aging and mellowing that you get a lot more done if you're a bit of a diplomat. And you try to see both sides, and that's what we are supposed to be able to do. Mind you, it's not always successful.
Yeah.
But I think it gives us a clear view of what's going on, and maybe people get up there, you know, whatever the situation is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
There's no other way that I can write these books and get the word out.
Yep.
And
right now you probably find that it's a lot easier to express yourself through your writing.
yeah.
You know, because your speech is still recovering, and you're doing well with your speech. But you know, I know sometimes I can get a thought in my head, and for me to express it verbally, I don't do it as well as if I was to put it on paper.
What you mean?
Okay.
It's I agree with you.
Well, that's good. I like people
But
me.
yeah.
It doesn't happen often, so man, I'm eating this up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really strange. I've written so much stuff. It's like the first book, Cherokee Sound, when I was writing it. It seems like 10 years ago.
Wow.
And then, come to think of it, since I had my stroke, it seems like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
It's only been 8 months.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, 8 months.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 7 months.
Well, you're doing really well.
It's right, because that's an inspiration, actually, to hear you, and I saw you earlier, how well you do. So it's a little bit rough, and I thought I heard you say,
No.
what happened, I guess, sort of, for you to change. But that's a hard knock I have to go through.
I was 50 years old, so it was an eye-opener.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think people realize, you know, until something like this happens to them, how stressful life can be.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in today's world, when you've got a lot of pressures on you that our ancestors didn't have the same kind of pressures. There was still survival and things like that, but not with the added pressures of today's world.
Oh, no.
You know, and then just trying to make ends meet, because now everything is based on money, and where's the money going to come from to pay for this and to pay.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I mean, yeah, you always had to worry about survival, but you had other means of doing it. And with our people, especially, money was not. I mean, we didn't use money. We always used to trade and barter.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, if you did some sort of craft, or like say you did buckskin work really well, and I did maybe bead work or bone work really well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we would trade for services like that.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't going and work, you know, killing yourself at a job for so many hours a day and then coming home and trying to have, you know, something nice for yourself.
Yeah. It was that way.
Yeah.
And thank God I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm in the same boat. I would like to repeat our phone number in case anybody would like to call in, maybe with questions for Waya, and that's area code 718-506-1564. Again, that's area code 718-506-1564. Well, I'm going to have to keep in touch with you, because I will be heading through Pennsylvania towards the end of October.
Okay.
Going up to Connecticut to meet up with Doreen.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be up with the Shaktakok tribe up there. The chief up there is a real good friend of ours, and he does attend the United Nations Indigenous Forum, and he's also going to be there with us for the World Conference of Indigenous People in September.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to be coming down from Connecticut through Pennsylvania again. So then I have a brother that lives over in East Pittsburgh that we're going to stop at, and we're going to try to hit different tribes along the way.
Mm-hmm.
To through our organization, Two Feathers International, and make impact. Go in, meet and greet, and tell them a little bit about ourselves and what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be up in that area around that time, so we'll have to see if we can, connect while we're up in that area.
Yeah, I would be glad to.
See if we can get a book or two from you.
I'll see what I can do.
Hey, I hear you know the guy that can work that out for us, eh?
Yeah, I can.
Very nice, very nice.
So what else is up?
What else is what?
What else is up?
What else is up? Well, there's all sorts of things. I mean, we could sit here, and with your experience, dealing with spiritual writings and stuff, I'm sure you could tell everybody in a very good way how to deal with the world situation.
Yeah, right.
We'll get it just straightened out here on this show. Yeah. And we listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much whatever you feel comfortable talking about. Why, I think in our talking you said that you have relations both Eastern and Western Band Cherokee.
Yeah.
We're primarily Eastern Band, but I had an uncle, my mother's uncle, my great uncle, also lived in Oklahoma, and he was around a place called Fairland, Oklahoma, and he was sheriff there for a number of years. And Chimmy, who's doing the board for us for our show, he's always the quiet guy in the background that makes sure our show gets on and works. He went with Doreen and I and another friend from New Zealand, Carl, through Oklahoma and saw some stuff through there, and we took him over to our Western Band Cherokee over there by the Tahlequah up there. So I think that's the first time you've been there, isn't it, Doreen?
Yep.
Now she'd been to North Carolina, but she'd not been to our Western Band. And then we also had met one of the people at the hotel that we stayed at was from United Kituwa Band. So that was I thought that was interesting because I'm Gaduwa.
So why are you fluent in your language?
What's that?
Are you fluent in your language?
I'm not fluent now, if you can there. That's what I had trouble with when I came back.
Oh, okay.
Do you find, since you've had a stroke, do you find it harder to pronounce our Cherokee words or English words?
Oh, I totally lost. Came back. When I came home from the hospital, I couldn't say anything
at all.
No.
In language or just in Cherokee?
Mostly in Cherokee, but
okay.
English, no.
Oh.
Okay.
So I've really in 7 months, I don't know where it came from, but it's coming back.
Well, that's good. That means you're healing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I remember years ago I was in a car accident in Chicago. I mean, it was nothing serious. I broke my leg and stuff, but I mean, there was no serious injuries. And the first first language I heard in the emergency room was Filipino, was Tagalog.
Yeah.
And that's all I understood for a good 10 or 15 minutes was Tagalog. And I never understood that. Maybe I got bonked on my head and didn't know it.
That's possible.
Yeah, I had lived in the Philippines, so I already knew the language. It's not like it just came to me out of nowhere. I mean, Yeah. Well, that would have been something. Which you know nothing about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just join up with you, man.
Yeah, you was in trouble a long time ago there, were you? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just the stuff with the Ulysses, my Ulysses and all that. It's just stuff that you are saying, and it's making me think about that.
Yeah.
And
see, and you're helping teach some of our Cherokee words tonight, like the word Ulysses, grandmother.
Mhm.
And then Ududu is grandfather.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I'm an Aduchi. It's
You're
uncle.
Aduchi.
Yeah. So we'll have everybody in our listening audience walking away speaking Cherokee, and then there's words that just pop out on them, and they'll feel like they're being attacked. Oh my God, where's this coming from? Then we can sit here in the background and take credit for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Doreen knows a lot about our ways since she's been coming here. We started about 4 years ago, wasn't it, Doreen? With a cultural exchange between our Cherokee community and the Maori people, and she's really picked up a lot. God, she's even doing beadwork now and making earrings. And
wow!
But this is aside from doing her own traditional craft work, because she's a pretty good weaver herself. She makes basketry and what they call kite. I'm over there much, and I've been gone over there off and on for 30 years. I catch myself saying "we" like I'm Maori.
And often you talk to me.
Well, this is.
But it is right. I think if you've got a craft or you're a creative person, it's a little bit easier to pick up another culture's craft. Because your basketry and our weaving, although they're two different styles, it's still a type of weaving or creating something.
Yes.
So it wasn't hard to get my head there and just get in and learn. And I enjoy it anyway. I love seeing things made from nothing, and you can make something and it becomes functional.
Yeah. Over in New Zealand in their traditional way, if there's a group of people, usually the men talk for women. Unless it's something really political, then you back away. But I catch myself doing that, and she just gives me a look, and I say, well, that's the way it is old way. But I catch myself. Somebody will ask Doreen a question about being Maori or a tradition or something, and before you know it, my mouth is the one that's going, and she just quietly sits there. I hear about it later, but she.
But Mashu, that look, it isn't just a Maori look, that's an Indigenous look.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows that look.
Well, I think it's time that we go on break right now, and so we're going to come back in about 5 minutes, and we will continue with our special guest, Waya Adanula, Wolf Spirit.
Engari te titi e tani haere ana Whae tokoru ara waraua Tēnā ko au nei e manu Kei te ua kiwi mahue I te tawa Ka toro te rā kau ki rungara Ka hoki mai ki te pau Ka whai uri ki Nokua noko ia ko te ware ware rā Te whai au I te tira aere Ko te hina whakanaro ana Aiwi maunga ki hui arau Kia ringia ki te roi mata Ko te rere au ki ngau e mutura Ko wana ke rai maue I one Hei he teri kirita Ki te matu ahu Hei titiro no atura ki woe He waka he rai rere atura Whakatikara wake ki rungara Ka momotu ki ta whiti Mawai ara e whai atu
Join us on Just Us Radio Network for our shows Inflowment, Unity in Community, Numbers in Time, The Indigenous People's Voice, One Point of View, Walking the Talk with Kurt, and the People's Round Table. Check out our website for information about upcoming shows. Just ask Google to find Just Us Radio Network and you will find links to our website and to our Blog Talk and Facebook pages, as well as to our podcast where you can subscribe for automatic downloads.
Welcome back to Indigenous People's Voice. We have with us as our guest tonight, Waya Adanudo, and published Cherokee author of 2 books, Cherokee Sound and Where Ancestors Cry. Before we get into our conversation again, Doreen, can you know what song that was playing during the break?
The song that played at halftime was Kautangi Tatiti by Whirimako Black, and she's one of our prominent Maori singers here in Aotearoa. She also promotes through her songs and her interviews and different films she's made. She promotes our language.
Ah.
She's a native speaker. She's got her facial hamuko, her muko, on her, just below, or on her chin, done the traditional way. And most of, I guess that's the only music we've got at the moment on the show at the break is Whirimako. Only because she is one of the, one of my favourite Māori women. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to again welcome Awake Radio and also These Changing Times Radio, and thank them for simulcasting our program since last week. We're glad that we are all working together. And so if there's anyone that would like to call in, if you have any questions for Waya or Doreen or myself or all of us, our call-in number is area code 718-506-1564. Again, that's area code 718-506-1564. You can also go to justusradionetwork.weebly.com, and you'll see our show being broadcast on there, and you can leave comments that Chimmy will let us know about, and we will answer your questions there if you have any comments to make or anything like that. Okay. I've done my public service announcements. I feel good.
There you go.
How you feeling up, Waya? You doing okay, buddy?
I'm all right, man.
Okay.
I'd like to read another piece.
Sure. I was just going to ask you to do that. Quit reading my mind.
All right. It's called Here Come the Indians.
Uh-oh.
When they sailed in on their wooden ships to the eastern shore, laid out their blankets, but they didn't bring the cure. One by one, every tribe and clan, every nation fell, left us somewhere south of heaven in a white devil hell. As the smoke cleared from the rifles, then the cannons came to life, firing from the distance with an evil sigh. The truth won always out there, right from the start. Each and every piece of us that you tore apart, we're rising up now.
Talking about our first contact with European migrants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a sacred wind, can you feel the fear? Here come the Indians. When we march in on the red road to the eastern shore, bring back our home. You can't have it anymore. One by one, each tribe and clan, nation sent to hell. Resurrected dignity, we're going to break your freedom bill. The truth is always out there, right from the start. Each and every piece of us that you tore apart. We're rising up now like a sacred wind. Can you feel the fear? Here come the Indians. That's it.
Very nice.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's true because a lot of our people today are getting back on the red road and getting back to traditions and getting back to learning languages.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. We're taking back who we are.
Mhm.
Yep. So that is a very apropos writing.
It's there's a lot of stuff in it, and when you go back, when you look at it now, it's easy to see. But not too long ago, we were pretty far behind.
Mhm.
So we've come a ways, but there's nothing going to stop us.
Well, you know, Doreen and I have talked quite a bit about this, and I'm sure people who listen to us regularly on the show know that we do talk about our history and what has happened in the past because it's important as Indigenous people that we never ever forget that we never forget where we come from. But at the same time, we don't live and dwell in the past. We take that knowledge to deal with, you know, try to get lessons from that to deal with today's world in today's time frame, and also help prepare for a better future for our descendants. You know, that history is always going to be with us, and I think it's important that we never forget it. But we can't always live in the past because we're not going to get anywhere that way. We can live in today's world in the 21st century and not give up anything about our traditions. You know, that's possible. It's hard at times, but it's possible. And that's the only way our cultures are going to be able to survive, I think.
And I guess, Mashu, and that's why it's so important that we hear the songs, you know, all the traditional songs that our people sing for everyone.
Exactly.
The poetry, the writing, all of that stuff is important for us to learn, to strengthen ourselves. These are my thoughts. To strengthen ourselves so we know who we are, we know that we can stand tall, and then we can pass on knowledge.
Yes, because every generation that comes along adds to what is being passed down to the future generations, and I think that's important as well.
I kind of agree with you there, but I think we've got to know who we are.
Exactly.
And then get to that.
That's all a part of the process. You have to know who you are, and I haven't personally, but Doreen has actually done some of our programs from Two Feathers to do just that, isn't it, Doreen?
Yeah, and it really is about looking backwards so we can move forward, looking at our traditions as it was before white contact, and from what we know in our own history, like my history, what I've learned from my parents, my grandparents, and then bringing it forward. And I think for me and my family, I've got 9 brothers and sisters, and we were lucky enough to visit all of our traditional homes in our area, learn about our carvings, learn our stories, our songs, and the language. You know, most of us in my family can speak our language, basically. We're not fluent, but our kids are. You know, we push for our kids to learn because language is the basis of who we are. We can't explain like a tree. If you ask me to explain it in my language, then it's got this beautiful story around it that goes right back to our legend. and you just can't explain it in English.
Yes, but you're also doing like with the programs that you've been doing with the women.
Oh, sorry, Mashu. And the programs are about learning about who you are. Really.
Yeah.
So we sort of spark the flame for the individual to take on board, and then maybe go home and start learning a little bit, so that they can strengthen themselves and move themselves. So these are people that are called on colonisation machines, and are still in there. So it's about igniting that flame to send back to traditional ways so that you can move forward and move forward in a strong way as an individual. And then, embrace your family, your extended family, parts of the individual.
And where you fit in as an individual in like your family unit and your clan and your tribe and your nation, and gets you to learn all of that, yourself, get your self indigenous identity amongst your own people. And then hopefully that gets you to get more into your traditions and your customs, of course, go along with that, and then also your language that builds that, ignites that flame to learn and delve into your language. And I'm proud to say that we have quite a few immersion courses into our language now, both Eastern and Western bands, and even at college level now for Cherokee. Not all indigenous languages have that ability, but or have that connection. But I know, and then Doreen and Chimmy was a part of this last time when we went to Western Nation, where we actually sat in on a class, an immersion class, where no English was being used to actually teach. I thought that was fascinating.
Yes, that was cool. I enjoyed that. But just getting, I'll just step back again to our program, because part of it is learning from our old stories, our proverbs, all of those things. And you mentioned earlier, Waya, in your reading, in your writing, that there's different levels. And as you were talking, like, it's not just what we hear. There were other meanings to what you were saying. And that's similar, I guess, to our Indigenous proverbs. Our Māori proverbs have all these different levels of teachings and learning for our people. But for us as a people to understand it fully, we need to know our language so we can understand what they were talking about, the worldview that they see. They said these proverbs. I guess they were just sayings at that time. And I just thought it was interesting because you did mention it when you were reading. There are different levels. So some that's awesome, though. And that's how it should be, because we're not just one-layered people. We've got all these multi-layers. Understanding our meaning. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And I think I know sometimes I can explain myself better in one language than the other. Especially if you know your own language, and you can express yourself much clearer, or maybe the explanation won't be clear, but the meaning will be clearer to you. If that makes any sense, the meaning can be something clearer to you, but you won't be able to exactly put it into words. I know, like when we try to translate back and forth from English to Cherokee, there is no way to exactly translate word for word. But what you do is you translate the concept or the idea.
Yeah.
Because in English we don't have words in our language for some English words.
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. We definitely don't have any swear words. We have to wait for English to come along for that, because there is no swear words in any Indigenous American language.
No.
We had to wait for the European to give us that.
Yeah, they had to.
And unfortunately, that's usually the first words you learn in any language. But in Indian, all of our languages, no matter which tribal language you speak, they're all descriptive languages. So we have to describe what you're talking about. All descriptive.
Well, that's the way we talk, though. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Because it's totally different than any other language.
When I grow up and become a renowned, world-known linguist of like 30 or 40 languages, I'm going to do a presentation on this.
Okay.
I've got plenty of time. I'm still young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we'll see how far I get with that one.
Well, baby steps, Mashu. We'll just do what we can first.
I know. I would like to have the ability to just disappear for at least 6 months to a year and just be totally immersed, old way, with nothing but Cherokee speakers, and not to speak a word of English, and see how far I would get.
Where would you do that? You can't, because you can't step back in time. So, are there places
step
like
back
this?
in time, but maybe maybe at least if I could get like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, non-stop immersion, where everything around me is only in Cherokee. Because I used to be fluent as a kid, I was told. My grandmother told me I was fluent as a kid, but I don't remember being fluent. And I understand more than what I actually speak. But the problem with me today is that most of the stuff written in Cherokee is all Western dialect, and we're Eastern dialect. And this is the problem that I have. It's hard to get written material in the Eastern dialect, in the Gaduwa dialect. And so you almost have to go to school, and then like I can take courses here on the computer and stuff like that, but I as an individual do not learn well that way. I have to have people around me that I can ask questions, or I can hear it, I can interact with, but I've ever done well with online subjects or courses, because I've tried it just to see how well I do. I need the human element there, and preferably from an elder and someone who knows what they're talking about.
Is there any hope?
Is there any?
True.
Yeah.
Say what?
Is there any hope?
Is there any help for me?
Oh, God.
Hope? There's always hope.
You to achieve that, be in a total immersion environment.
Well, now you were there when we heard about the 10-day immersion course over in Cherokee. But we would have to, it was like, what was it, $500 for a 10-day immersion course in language, but what they didn't tell you is that there's also an expense for your lodging for that 10 days, and of course there's this bad habit that we both have, and that's called eating, which facilitates other bad habits like breathing. And so it's going to be more than $500.
Yeah.
But that's
the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Where in the old days this would just happen automatically because we would be living in our own communities.
Yeah. Well, you got a good point there.
Well, I'd like to think so. I like to have a good point every once in a while. It makes me feel valuable.
Yeah, there you go.
See? But I've got two lottery tickets here that I haven't checked in yet, so I may be able to afford this and not even know it.
Yeah, the going back to Cherokee Sound. I when I was writing that, I during that time I had been seeing my grandmother.
Oh.
She would come around
Oh.
and see that hawk, and it was quite and really quite enjoyable, but it gave me strength, and it really did. And I got out and just started writing, threw it down, got it out, and people liked it.
Did she just come around and give you the inspiration, or did she share things with you when she comes around?
Yeah, she would share things. And I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but she would do that.
Oh, I understand. See, that's common for our people, our ancestors, our relations come back from spirit world when we need them. And they also come back when they need us.
Yeah.
And this is for Indigenous. It's like, it's just like every day. It's nothing mysterious or anything. To us, it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But other cultures, they make something very mysterious and ugly about it, and it's evil. Well, to us, it's not like that at all. This is part of our spirituality and who we are.
Mm-hmm. And it's just that's something special.
In a way, do you think that she helped give you the strength also for what you're going through now?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do. I found out something. My father passed away, and I've been away from him for a long time. And he passed away, I think it was March. And the thing about it is, I really didn't have anything to do with him anymore. So he was the last one alive.
Oh.
And that's what I've been going through lately. And I don't I got away from him, and that's just the way. Because he chose with his Cherokee, he chose a different way.
Oh, another way than our traditional ways?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was just something that I've been going through lately.
Well, a lot of our people did that, and a lot of our people did that as a way of survival.
Uh-huh.
I know my father did that also, where he wouldn't admit that he was this at all. In fact, he tried to pass himself off as English and Italian, and that was because of the laws that are still in this country in many states. If you're family, if you're a native, you lost your property, your livestock, and that's as recent as 1965. In Alabama, up until 1985, if more than 2 of our people were seen on the street talking publicly, you were arrested. And when you have a family, children, you do what you feel you need to do to protect your family. And so, whether I liked it or not, there's lots of things about our Cherokee history I don't like. I've always felt like, why didn't our people hold out like the other tribes did, and instead of following, more readily to white man's way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is especially when I was younger. But as I grew up and I learned more and more of the history, I understood that they weren't really going along. They were just fighting to stay on our traditional land. You know, and so they started dressing like the white people. Well, not exactly like them, but more like them. And then they would show up in their little Christian churches because that if they think that we're believing in their God, then we'll get to stay here. And if we dress up, we won't be as much of a threat, and so we'll get to stay here for that reason too. And of course, that didn't work. Along came the 1830s and the Trail of Tears, and we still got into, you know, Indian territory, or what's today called Oklahoma. But our people would do that, would do things like that. They were being defiant, but in a way that wasn't readily seen. You know, like when they would go to the churches and stuff, they didn't really believe anything that was going on there. They were still traditional people, but they was given the illusion of, oh yeah, we believe the way you do. You know, and that was just to hold on to our traditional lands, and a lot of people don't realize that. And then,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then with a lot of the songs like they sing today in Cherokee, a lot of the hymns, you know, originally it was just like the black slaves. We would use the Christian hymns, the tune of the Christian hymns, to pass messages along. You know, and a lot of people aren't aware of that, you know, from one tribal group to another. And those are the way people learn to survive. And then another thing that happened with our people is if you could, you would pass yourself off as another ethnic group just to save your family. Like if you could pass, right, you could. If you could pass for a mulatto, pass for black. And then if you ever heard the term black Dutch, well, I mean, us Indians knew that was Cherokee. You know, and this is stuff that you won't find in history books. You know, this is only amongst our people. And the true history, well, any of the history of this country will not be found in the history books because it's all lied about to make the government look good. But this is one of the reasons why I've lectured in schools and colleges and universities for years, is to tell the truth about our history. And and to disprove the lies in the American history books. So, I think, but I remember being a young person and going, geez, why couldn't we just hold out like those Lakota people? You know, they fought right up until the 1900s. You know.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. You know, then he'd come back and you'd see a picture of our people, and here they're dressed like white people, and I'd just be ashamed, you know. And then the older I got, you know, the more I understood the history and why things were done, and then, you know, I didn't feel as bad, you know, but that's, you know, that again is also a part of growing up.
Yeah.
And you learn these things, and being around the right people to teach you these things.
I agree.
Yep.
They taught us a lot. That's for sure.
Yep, and still do.
Oh yeah. I think you can teach me something there now.
Yeah. Are you there, Doreen?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just listening. But Mashu, you were talking about the Lakota people fought right up to the turn of the century. Is that what you said?
A lot of the tribes did, especially your Plains tribes. Like I think right up until I think it was 1906. Was it?
Oh.
I may have there's two people that was, one was in 1906 and I think the other one was in 1908. And the two people were Sitting Bull Tatanka Yutanka. and the other one was Geronimo.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not for sure which date goes with which one. I'd have to look it up. But that's when they were taken prisoner just before those years, a year or so before those years, and then I think those are the dates that they actually died, was in 1906 and 1908.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, what was your people doing? Where were your people?
By that time, we'd already gone through the Trail of Tears. We had also what is now called the state of North Carolina and South Carolina, and on down into Georgia. There had been a huge tract of land that the government ceded to our Cherokee people, and it was called the Cherokee State. And we had our own representative in the white man's government, and we were trying to become official delegates and senators in the House, in the legislature and the Senate of the United States government, to be fully recognized as a Cherokee state and to have our own representatives there from that state. And
what was it, John Ross? Was he?
That was during the time of John Ross and the Ridge, Major Ridge. And then which were two leaders. The Ridge, Major Ridge, was the one who was for the moving of our people into Oklahoma, and what was the Trail of Tears. And John Ross was even though he was only 8th Cherokee, he was supported by our traditional people, and we held back. I wasn't even a twinkle back then.
Yeah.
But had I been, I would have been with the Ross's bunch, with John Rush, with Ross, with the.
They signed that treaty.
Well, they did not have the right to sign the treaty.
Right.
Ridge's bunch didn't have the right.
Right.
It's only the chiefs that had the right to do that, and they knew when they signed that they signed their own death warrant.
Mm-hmm.
But I still can't look at them in a bad and a negative way, because in their heart of hearts they felt they were doing what was right for the people at that time, and I think both sides of the argument were right. They just had different ways to go about it, and they couldn't come together on that.
Mm-hmm.
And the course of history that actually happened, where you had the first group to go out, the Ridge group, they went out there first and got things settled up, and then finally Ross's bunch came in, what was it, a year or two later, and then we had another conflict there, because you had still the two major movements, between the traditionals and the ones that went with the Ridge Party.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's always been, even, I think, maybe not so much now, but up until like the early 1900s to the mid 1900s, that was still talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not ever lived in Oklahoma, and I have not lived in that community, so I really don't know how prevalent that is in today's world. But I know that had been pretty much an obstacle to overcome amongst the Cherokee community in the Western Band.
Yeah.
But a lot of our people are the ones that went up and hid in the caves of the Smokies, and then hid back, and then worked some sort of a deal where they could stay there. And I'm not for sure on the details of that either. I just know that that's where a lot of our...
Yeah, somebody... What it was he was killed, and he was...
Totley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was just trying to look out for his children.
Yes. And they tricked him to come in to surrender, and then they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
He was surrendering for his people, for the safety of his people. That's right.
Yeah. Well, so much of that went on.
which just goes to show you can only trust an Indian, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I couldn't. No question to ask.
Yeah, see, this is what we're doing. We're spreading knowledge and understanding here.
Well, you are. We are.
Well, I know with our people, and I can only speak for our people, is that your word is everything, and your honor, your word is your honor.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you carry yourself amongst your people, that reflects not only on you, but your family, your clan, and your people. And Doreen's heard me say a million times, I'm nobody, I'm just your I guess I'm not a typical anything, but I'm just an average American Indian. I don't have a position in the tribe. I don't have any wealth thing to speak of.
Mm-hmm.
Our people are a poor people, but our wealth has been in our history, has been in our traditions, has been in our culture. And I was always taught from a young age that when we go out in public, all of our people are being judged by our actions. We are always representatives of our people.
Mm-hmm.
This may not be the proper thing for people to do, but that's the way humans are. They look at one person and judge all of their people. Now, I can be a bum around the house here. I walk around in a pair of shorts and flip-flops and a T-shirt, but when I'm out in public, when I leave this house to go in public, I am always dressed traditional in my ribbon shirt, my traditional jewelry on, and a pair of trousers and boots.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go to the store. I'm always like that. I've always been like that. And because I'm representing my people, and how I carry myself reflects on my people.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I do know that.
So, that's just...
I might help you and to rewrite your speech that you just said to start with a positive, because you tend to start it with nobody. You actually are. Yeah, you are somebody.
As I say that, and I know what people are thinking, I'm not putting myself down in any way. What I'm saying is that I don't have anything above anybody else. I'm just a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a title. I don't have wealth. I don't have this. I am just Mashu. I am just one little Cherokee man that does his best to represent the people. But I was taught like this from a child. You go out, you're in public, everybody's watching you, and you act as like what other people think about the rest of us. So that stuck with me. My Elisi, Chisquagea, my grandmother, Bird Woman, always was always saying stuff like that. And so that's why it's always stuck with me this year. I go out, if I'm going to someplace like I'm going to the United Nations, I'll have my ribbon shirt, always looking good, polish my boots, make sure my pants are nice and creased, and got all my jewelry, all my silver jewelry polished up and shiny, So there's a good representation, the best I can do to represent my people. I may not be the best representative, but, this is the best I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because above all, we are humble.
Well, we are. That's a good point.
See, Doreen, I told you I was humble. She never believes me, Waya.
I know.
She says, "Hey, humble one, bring your head out of the clouds."
Oh, boy.
Well, I know you represent your people well, Mashu, when we've been out, especially when you were over here. Just absolutely excellent. your presence, how you spoke, your dress, everything. You represented really well over here. But even over there, when I've been over in Turtle Island with you, and wherever we've been, I've seen how you are. So I think role modelling is important for others to see and to listen and to hear when people talk. So it wasn't so much that I was thinking about, before. Just you actually, and you're probably not the right person to say it. You've achieved a lot in your life today. So you've actually got a little bit of a profile about you at an international level. And the work that you do as well. I've seen it, so I know it's the healing work you do, the counselling. I don't like that word. I would say corridor in our language. But the counselling that you do with different people and the teaching that you do. So, and I guess sometimes when I hear you talk, I think at times we need to actually say a bit more.
Say a bit more?
Yeah, just not so much beat ourselves up. I don't mean that, but just put things in the right context, because if I was to refer you, and it probably is someone else that needs to say that about you, because I certainly do over here, because I know the knowledge that you hold, well, some of it, and I've seen what you've done, your teachings for your people, and then for people in general. So I do say that over here hold you up on a bit of a pedestal. I said it.
Oh, over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Wait a minute. I got to start packing. No, but I think, Waya knows what I'm talking about, and I'm sure Chimmy does too, is that with amongst our people, when we're amongst our own, we don't traditionally build ourselves up to be this and to be that. We're humble. I usually do it in a joking way. And so I mean it's like I don't consider myself better than anybody else, and what I've accomplished, I feel everybody else can accomplish the same thing, maybe in a different way. But I'm not saying, hey, I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I'm really good at that. That's just hey, that's not our way at all.
No, you got to get inside us.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean that, and I don't think you would ever do that.
No.
But I mean, you tend to start off with a negative when you talk like that. But you don't even need that negative in there.
I can see if you weren't Indigenous, you could look at it as being a negative thing. Because I understand what you're talking about. If I was talking to a non-Indigenous person, and to hear like what I said, I said like I'm no one important. See, now to a non-Indigenous person, they would look at like that, like, oh, I'm not up there with them. But with our Indigenous people, I think the way it's taken is that I'm just like you. I don't have this title or this position or this. I'm just your average person. Am I right, Waya?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely. But you just knuckle down.
Yeah, knuckle down. Got that, Doreen?
That's all you do. That's all you do, man.
That's all you got to do. You just do the best you can with what you got, and you hope it turns out good.
Yep.
I've been going over to Doreen's country off and on for 30 years, and that's my second home. I love it there.
I know it, Jim.
Love it there, and I have extended family over there. I was fortunate enough to be adopted into one of the most wonderful families, I think, and so I have some strong ties back there, at least for me. So I really enjoy going back whenever I have the opportunity.
Yeah.
And then Doreen keeps nudging me with this big pointed stick, and she goes, "Mashu, you're Cherokee, you're not Maori." I go, "I know that, but I feel at home here." Take that stick out of my back, you know. No. But that's how close our people are, Waya. We are that close in our belief system. I mean, not the intricacies of the belief system, but our basic belief system and our spirituality between the Maori and our Cherokee people, for sure, are that. I feel like I'm just amongst my family over there as well, and I like to think that she feels the same way over here with us.
Oh, I know that.
Of course I do.
She's saying that because she's on the radio. No.
Oh, yeah.
Of course I do feel at home, because this will be my fourth trip. A friend of mine from home said to me the last time I saw her, or him rather, he says, "Oh, when are you going back to your other home?"
Oh,
and that's what, for me.
How do you like it? I get that all the time.
Well, that was the first time I got that, but it actually does feel that for me, and because they follow us on Facebook, you know, I can see why they see that and they say that. Just having so much fun and then being able to share knowledge with others, it's just, you know, a dream.
I remember the first time that I met Doreen. It was at a place where she used to work. What was it? Manaaki Whare Trust. And first time I ever saw her, they had done the traditional welcoming in to their place of work. They had where everybody talks, you know, first the people from the whole house there talked, and then our group talked, and I did the talking, and then we went and shook everybody's hand. That's their way of doing things. They're very formal in their greetings and stuff. Things that I wish our people were more traditional in. And I remember when I went up and shook her hand, and I said, "You're the only one that gets it."
Yeah.
And she gave me this look like, "You have no idea what you're in for." And we've been traveling together ever since for 4 years now. And started a cultural exchange, and that cultural exchange has grown into our organization now, Two Feathers International Consulting. And it just keeps getting bigger, and we're now working for our people's rights and issues on an international level with the United Nations. So I think our ancestors on both sides are working with us and pushing us to do, you know, what's needed. Even though we may not understand, you know, what we're supposed to do. We're up in these places, and so we take advantage of it, you know, to the best of our ability. So I guess that's all we can do, isn't it?
Yep.
I'd like
to.
What'd you say?
I'd like to thank you guys. For letting me be on here.
Oh, we really appreciate you being on, and see, and now that you're getting better, you can write about our travels and our exploits and put it in verse.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know. But the publisher's SHN Publishing, and they publish both books and at Amazon, and there's all over online. So you can find the book if anybody wants it.
Oh, okay.
Do you happen to know what they're selling for?
Right around about $12.
About $12?
Mm-hmm.
May I put it out there that this would probably, especially for people who are wanting to know a little bit more about your Cherokee heritage and stuff, this would be great gifts, for family members from someone who has Cherokee background and has had the teachings, and I'm sure this it has to be in his writing. There's no way it could not be. In your writings and the things that you've experienced and the teachings from your Ilisi and stuff, it all will come out in your writing, I'm sure. Whether you plan for it to or not. So this is one good, one excellent gift. The two books are Cherokee Sound and Where Ancestors Cry. Okay, we've just got about 3 minutes here, so Doreen, do you have anything you'd like to say before we close for our show tonight?
Just here, mihi aroha ki a koe waia, my acknowledgement to you and the duty that you've been on in this last 12 months. Yeah, it's an inspiration to hear and to see you earlier, just fighting and moving forward. And to everyone out there, I guess it's about keeping ourselves well. We're in a stressful world. Find a way for ourselves to deal with it so it can affect us. Our mind, body and soul, keep it all balanced so that we are fit and ready to move forward with our people's there's a lot of work to do for all of us.
Yep.
Kia ora koutou katoa.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say, Waia?
No, I just want to thank you for letting me be.
Well, we thank you for coming on and being an inspiration. I am so proud of the progress that you're doing in your recovery. I think you did just wonderful tonight. Just give yourself the opportunity to heal.
Okay.
And I think that you will be doing good in your recovery, and you will also have a lot of sales. For my part, I'd like to say thank you, Ski Eliwado, Oganali Eli Nagida, Sunoyo Sa Eli Donada Gahai, Donada.
Way